Near, near, rip a hole in the sun. Welcome to Cum Paude. Why would you cum soft when you can cum loud? Yeah.
Welcome to Cum Laude. Cum Paude. The Great One. The Firmalicious. Amphibious Artemis. The Fermanator. Dame Jiridench. Fermi, what's going on, buddy?
Welcome back. Another week. Here we are.
Week 10 going into week 11 of the Public Honors College of Fantasy Football. And man, things are getting tight as we're heading towards the playoffs here. Some big injury announcements dropped today. Recording this on a Tuesday. We've got Cooper Kupp being sidelined majorly for what should be close to the rest of the fantasy season. And for the Rams, let's be honest, for the rest of the season, there's kind of lines up with fantasy schedule this year, unfortunately. And even some other guys going down. Dallas Goedert looks like he might miss some extended time. Zach Ertz done for the year, which makes obviously the extremely deep tight end position just a little bit shallower. I mean, shit, we've Njoku, Ertz, Goddard down, and Mark Andrews banged up. I mean, we're at a place where there's about two tight ends you can feel comfortable starting, and damn it, where would you rather be than right here, right now? Am I right?
That's right.
All right. So, what do you think, buddy? You want to take a look real quick at the league and give us a breakdown? I know you've kind of been studying the position jockeying, where people seem like they're going to end up, where they are right now. So let's take a look at the standings real quick.
Yeah, take a look at where we're at here. We've got three teams at 7-3. I know I made the bold prediction last week that we're going to have a four-way lock at 7-3, and unfortunately, I was the only team that couldn't hold up my end of the bargain there to have the four-way lock. But some jostling around. We had two of the 500 teams get some wins. So 3 at 7-3, 3 at 6-4, 3 at 5-5, 2 at 4-6. I mean, there's opportunity, right, to get into the playoffs. This year we're dropping down to 8 teams, make it into the playoffs. So it's looking like you're going to have to be right around 500 or a game above to be able to get in there. But 4 games left, plenty of opportunity for some of these teams to sneak in. Even some opportunity for Street Brown and Hutch and Slavs and Dobbs if they want it to get in there. 4% chance for Slavs, it's saying. Cum Sale has finally reached 0% chance.
We didn't know it was possible.
Playoffs.
We didn't know it was possible. And right now we are like testing the limits of like, this is absolute zero, right? I mean, we're hitting negative 273 degrees or whatever the hell the Kelvin scale is at this point, right?
Yeah, haven't done the full math calculations. Hopefully ESPN's done that for me. But when you went out and you're in 6th place, I guess the possibilities for the other teams aren't there to lose out for you to have a chance. So, but yeah, Pubic Medusas gets the top leading scorer in the league. We kind of expected that bounce back. Didn't have a huge week this past week. We'll go through that, but we saw Stage 5 and Rivers both go down again. We've kind of been waiting to see that happen with their teams. Look to Stage 5 maybe keep struggling with the Cooper Kupp news coming out.
Yeah, what I see just quickly, and this is a little impromptu and not on our show notes here, but what the 4-letter network thinks we're going to be looking at in terms of a playoff bracket here. We've got the Pubic Medusas at the number 1 seed. That seems to be in line with the power rankers who are writing for Cum Laude at this point. Wish hopefully we can get one of them on the show at some point, but I know you're in direct communication with the power rankers pretty regularly. How does this stack up?
Yeah, I mean this is looking good compared to the preseason rankings. We did expect Pubic Medusas to be at the top. We did think that Slavs Medovs was going to have a year and be up in the probably the 2 spot, but some injuries, some trades, just some misfortune, and they're down in the toilet bowl section here
Yeah.
right now. But
Scrolls
down there with
down
the
to consolation ladder. I'm
down
gonna
there
go
with the
back up
Cub
to the
sale.
relevant part of the screen share here. So
Yeah, it's these are the teams I think we would have expected in the top 8 coming in this year. So it's lining up, but there's so much opportunity for these rankings to shuffle around with teams only being within 1-2 games back of each other. So I think this is a pretty good picture of what we're going to see though in 4 weeks.
yeah, it's the parity that I believe LM soared. I mean, through what some have called just a really irreprehensible fascist approach to league management. This is the parity that he has envisioned. And I think we're seeing that play out. I'm sure the social commentators will have a lot to say about it. But for us, we don't have those skills. What do you say we break down last week? Going right here, right away to the matchup that we've all been hoping for, the 16 seed versus the 1, the Cinderella story. Are we going to see it happen? No, we're not. What's going on here? Anything we've got to comment on other than then of course the Cum Sale doing what the Cum Sale does and Pubic Medusas doing what they do?
Yeah, I mean another lower scoring week for the Medusas. Not eclipsing the 100 points back to back weeks. So that's potentially concerning for the number 1 team, but there's just so much firepower in that lineup that I think they'll be able to continue to deliver. It was just an off week for some of the players. Cum Sale, PJ Walker, now 2 weeks combined, putting up 1 point maybe in 2 weeks, 2 points, possibly with the -3 last week and 5 this week.
Yeah.
I think Cum Sale is actually putting up more points that we would have expected. Does he beat anybody else this week with 70 points? Did anybody come in lower than 70?
I do think we have the
low.
We have the low score of the week, but admittedly, as somebody who is intimately connected with the franchise here, really, overachieving and left some points on the bench, which is
look at the bench. Rare.
I mean, we're getting touchdowns out of Visca, Nico, Kadarius Toney, and Davis Mills had himself a decent day. Interesting player to watch, though, baby. Chigo Conquo down there in Tennessee. We do have Treylon Burks coming back, but Chigo seemed to have established himself in that offense, so we'll see what happens there. Not a lot of depth here, quite honestly, with the Pubic Medusas, but man, these starters look good, and even with down weeks from Derrick Henry.
Yeah. I don't think he needs the depth at this point in the season. I think he's gotten through most of his bye weeks. Cool segment from last week, betting against the spread. Medusas was favored by 68. League manager did take Cum Sale to cover, and boy, did Cum Sale cover. So win for the league manager there, betting against the spread.
Yeah, hey, you want to bet on some boys who are going to show up and put out some effort on a day-to-day basis. It's the home team. Let's go here. Moving forward, and I'll take this one. Alvin Kamara stinks versus ABCD.
Yeah, we got a team. We got a team rename either Sunday night or Monday night.
Yeah,
here.
no. And it hit me immediately, made me giggle, and it just caught me again though. Super Camario is not the guy he was.
I think what makes me giggle the most is that the team abbreviation right now is suck.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah. No,
Suck has dropped the player to free agency, but yeah, didn't show up this week. AJCD top scorer of the week, bringing home the $50 cash prize on the week. Everybody just came out to play. CD Lamb getting the ball that we've been expecting him to get all year. Just solid performances all around, piling it on.
Yeah, and I mean, I think what a lot of people saw in 32 and a half is quite large in our league. I think with other scoring formats across fantasy football, I mean, CeeDee Lamb was the dude this week that you wanted no matter what format that you were in, and even saw some guys getting 40 out of CD. So yeah, top to bottom looking pretty good. James Conner on this squad dropping 22.1, and some big news today, confusing news today. Benjamin has been jettisoned to the NFL real life waiver wire by the Cardinals. So that pretty much leaves James Conner and Darrell Williams, I believe, fellow used to play for the Chiefs, here in that scenario. So looking pretty good for a team that's projected to make its way into the playoffs. Like the squad, and not necessarily getting the help it expected from some of the places it expected, and we're in good shape here. Obviously, definitely like this team. Alvin Kamara stinks, but they just had a rough week. Let's go to a pillow fight for the ages in terms of the standings, but pretty decent numbers coming from Slobs My Dobbs. That's LM Rod's Sword versus Street Brown and Hutch.
Justin Jefferson, I mean, Jesus. Well, that game that he had to help Minnesota beat Buffalo, that catch that he had, the dude was just unstoppable. He caught everything coming his way. All around, spreading the points. Didn't get a lot out of the running backs. Najee finally put up some yardage, so that's promising. But surprising good points out of Trevor Lawrence. Big game out of Justin Jefferson, and then MVS. Pick up off of the waiver wire, goes right into the starting lineup. Gets a touchdown there in Kansas City. And then we look at Street Brown, Justin Fields again. 40 plus points. Didn't have the Joe Mixon train this week, who put up 50 last week, but still gets him over 100 points. We always look at that as the threshold for potential winner in this league. But yeah, Slobs gets another win, further step away from that first round overall first pick in the 2023 draft. Maybe gives him an idea, says, hey, might make a push for those playoffs. Got a 4% chance to get in there. See if we can string some wins together. He mentioned league manager on the call last week. He's got a weak strength of schedule going against Cum Paude and Street Brown again to finish up the year.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll see what those squads have to say about that. A lot of pride in both of those teams. Wanted to just highlight also the quarterback room here for Street Brown and Hutch. Showed up and showed out, right? I mean, obviously led by Justin Fields, who was the fantasy player of the week, the darling. But we've got Matt Ryan with 24 and Aaron Rodgers with 24 points sitting on the bench here for those that are in dire need of a quarterback at this point. Maybe a potential trade partner here moving forward.
Yep.
No, a tight one, and the week's tightest matchup. Well, mathematically, help me out here. It's very close to Rivers meet
very
Timbers.
close.
I'll get the calculator out in the meantime. But go ahead and talk about this one. We got Beth's Healthy Twins, still the leader in the clubhouse for naming rights of this season against MS Bateman Returns. Really, the Jekyll and Hyde squad of the year. What do you think?
Yeah, relatively low scoring matchup by our league standards, but Best Healthy Twins comes out on top. Didn't get carried as much by the Miami wide receivers this week, but Jeff Wilson came to play. Loving the McDaniel offense there. Wilson is getting back home. Kirk Cousins, just steady performance. This was a nail biter Monday night. Scary Terry was just catching balls, getting yardage, and just fell probably one long pass short of taking the win here. So probably a heartbreaker there for the bait man, but solid performances across the board. Kyle Pitts still, disappointment this year. Should really be playing a lot better than he is, but just super unreliable. So that's got to be tough to set that in your roster every week.
Yeah, I mean, what do you do, right? I mean, you start Kate Otten. I mean, right, exactly. Also, just harboring on his bench a couple of quarterbacks who are recently drafted, and that's the end of that sentence. Sam Howell and Matt Corral. I do though love this start. Terrace Marshall, who was a MS Bateman Returns darling at one point, now has made his way to Beth's Healthy Twins. Threw him in the lineup. Didn't really do a whole lot, but I do love,
it's enough to win.
If you've got it, go ahead. Yeah, exactly. That's all we needed. Swinging that Terrace Marshall sack around. Oh, what could have been yours if you had just stayed committed. Let's go here to the man from Florida, the elder statesman of this league, and quite honestly, a dude that finds ways to be victorious and relevant every single fantasy season as we're pushing towards the playoffs, taking down the champ. What do you see going on here for me?
Yeah, Donta Foreman came back, had a good game Thursday night. Christian Kirk, just loving getting the rock there in Jacksonville, top dog in Jacksonville. I think he's quietly having a really good year. There's the lead receiver for the Jaguars. Dalvin Cook had a couple of really nice long runs, just good points all across the board. Tony Pollard doing well, and then stage 5, Kupp gets injured. Mahomes did everything in his power to keep things going for the Klingon, but just not getting a lot of scoring out of his players. Got some big names there that they're just not doing it. Surprised Devin Singletary did get. I think he had 2 touchdowns on the week, but just not able to put up the points with some solid players. And mention it, Kupp with that injury, it's really going to hurt this team moving forward. There's a lot riding on Kupp and Mahomes to score lots of points week in and week out there.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is the proverbial straw that we were waiting to be laid upon the back of the 2-humped or 1-humped beast in the above the Saharan desert region. Let's move forward here to one of my favorite matchups of the week, and was quite honestly a bit of a disappointment. There's still a close matchup here. Some just decent scoring across the board, and I think was really highlighted by a battle of the tight end positions. What do you think about your matchup here?
Yeah, this was a heartbreaker for me. Had Jerry Jeudy go out on the first play of the game. 0 spot. Zach Ertz goes out in the first half of their game, now gone for the season. So lost a lot of potential there. Monday night, 30-point lead with Antonio Gibson, Brian Robinson, and the Commanders D going into it. Game script would have pointed to the Eagles just dominating that game. Commanders not running the ball much. I think the Commanders ran the ball more than any team this week. Just solid performance by those running backs. I'll tell you, personal level, just watching the scoreboard, I wasn't out of it until the very end. Just watching the moment the Eagles would get 28 points, it'd be -3 to that defense. It was just every play could have turned that a different direction. But no face mask call. Quez Watkins just being dumb with a bomb and dropping the ball after getting up and running. Just everything went wrong for the Jeudy Denches.
Yeah,
excellent.
The fumble Rooski really Rooskied at the last play of the game to seal.
Yeah, right? That skews the score a little bit more. But hey, what do we say? 100 points and you got a chance to win. The Jeudy Dench could not do that this week. Ham Nation comes out with a big win, gets back to 500, back into playoff contention, exactly where they want to be. Bold move. Love the sack on this one to throw Jacoby Brissett in there instead of Josh Allen. Not sure how Josh Allen's elbow is going to go, but last minute play wasn't bad, right? It was only 3 points, but went for it. I like it.
No, I mean, you want to talk about the flag planter of this league. It is the ham man, El Hamon, Harrison Barton, just willing to plant his flag. And this week happened to be with the backup quarterback for the Browns over the best player in fantasy football. And then also just starting 3 Dan Snyder products in his lineup to get a win. Plant your flag, buddy. Get that win. I love it. And in what still mathematically, I mean, this is a little easier math to do here because it both ends in 0.2, but still mathematically a very, very close game. I do believe, I mean, because we've done the calculations here, 88.3 to 85.8 is closer than 102.2 to 99.2. So the second closest game of the week, but one whose score looks nicer to the eyes. What do we see here?
This is another Monday nail biter. It's really great to watch. It was pretty much Miles Sanders and Curtis Samuel versus AJ Brown and Dallas Goedert. AJ Brown, another reason that the Dames lost, just handing the ball over in that interception. But I don't want to dwell on that. I think we expected.
We can dwell. We have
Redskinists. No, we got to keep it tight. We got to keep these tight. Redskinists, I think we're watching them climb the boards. I think this is the 3rd straight, maybe the 4th straight win for them. Losing Goddard potentially might hurt. Not sure what the backup tight end situation is there, but super, super deep team overall. We've been.
There is Evan Ingram is the backup tight end here. Irv Smith also.
Irv Smith, is he still injured?
He is.
He probably is. Yeah, he probably is. We're not seeing injury designations on this view of the screen, but yeah, we've been tracking Rivers Me Timbers, 2nd lowest scoring team in the league. Actually had a decent showing this week, but just wasn't enough. So another loss there. It's starting to come back to reality a little bit. Still a solid team. Jonathan Taylor did what he's going to do. Jonathan Taylor plays against Philly next week. We saw what the Commanders defense did, or the Eagles defense did against Commanders running back. So maybe Taylor has another good week, and came in with Marcus Mariota, had Joe Burrow on a bye, but I don't think you can complain about 21 points from a quarterback, especially on a bye week. So just another good game to watch.
And we have the masseuse receiver here in Deshaun Watson looming in this team's future. So honestly, no reason mathematically, no reason based on just our analytics here, colloquially either. Rivers Me Timbers has a shot though, and we'll see what's going on. What do you say we look ahead here to week 11 as we push towards the playoffs?
Yeah, let's do it.
One of these classic battles here that I think we're all really looking forward to. Are we going to see a real putting down of the foot for the first overall pick in this game here? We've got the Cum Sale looking to trot out a team that is full of guys who were highly drafted by NFL franchises and who have dramatically underperformed. I mean, if you want to talk about the DNA of this team, it is wasted potential. And they should be able to hand a staggering victory directly to the league manager, Slobs My Dobbs, who's getting his stuff together. Najee Harris seems to have stuff in order. The way this lineup reflects on our screen here has 2 Pittsburgh running backs, which would be, again, part of the reason why some in this league, not the 2 of us, have referred to him as the colluder in chief. It's kind of tanking for a first round pick, but we're seeing a team that is certainly built for the future, but in some ways with guys like Justin Jefferson, Gabe Davis, Hawkinson in a brand new setting, and then Russell Wilson for whatever that's worth. Also a team that's potential to win. Now I've got the Slobs my Daubers winning this game handedly here. Can you direct me though? Is there a way that we can see these spreads on this screen?
Yeah, I think if you go to scoreboard and box score, you can get there. So we don't have to do the math on it. Or matchup, I think.
Yeah, apologize for the delay. Hopefully
There we go.
they'll edit that out in the truck. So we've got a 16.7. All right, so a 17-point line of two tutties on a field goal. What do you think?
Yeah, I got the Slobs covering that. There's just too much talent on the field on the Slob side, and Russ Wilson playing against the Raiders. So Raiders will find a way to make Russ look good.
No, I'm with you here. Certainly not going to bet against myself for Pete Rose and Calvin Ridley reasons, so I'll abstain. Let's move it forward.
So we got
Ears versus Street Brown.
Yeah, we've got 2 bye week replacements. The number 1 kicker in the league is on bye for CD, so he's going to have to do a replacement there. I bet you he's not dropping him though. He's going to hold on to that gem. Big line here though. CD's coming off of a huge week. Did not have Lamar in his lineup last week and put up the league leading score. Lamar comes back. James Conner, is he back? I think Conner was that one piece that this team has been missing outside of maybe the week in, week out Darren Waller tease where Foster Moreau just kind of comes in and saves the day every single week for CD.
Yeah, that IR designation saves him a lot of transactions, I believe, for the rest of the year, right?
I think is anybody going to figure out Justin Fields? Look at that. He's player ranking 5. In just the last 2 weeks, he's put up 90 points, maybe, close to 90 points. He jumps up to the top 5. So I think it's really Justin Fields. He's got to throw Joe Mixon back into that lineup as well. So we're going to see that line shrink a little bit. I'd say we're probably, probably be around 20 between, but by the time everything gets shaken out.
Yeah, Gordon and Palmer are a push, so we're throwing Mixon in for one of those two pretty much, and seeing. Yeah, it's probably a 20-point line. I'm going to go ahead and take the Alphabet Squad to cover this spread. Not like me necessarily to go for road favorites. That's very, very much off brand for me. But I like them to cover. We'll set this at a 20-point line.
I like it.
Yep. You got the notes. I want to make sure I'm reminded of this next week. Let's take it forward to. It got me again. It made me giggle again. We've got what is the leader in the clubhouse for the best fantasy name of the year. But God damn it, I've giggled thrice this week at the AKS squad. It's
finally happened. Beth's Healthy Twins and the Dolphins are on a bye.
Yeah.
So look, 31 point favor for Alvin Kamara sucks. He's throwing Jared Goff back out there. There's just not a lot going for Beth's Healthy Twins this week without having Waddle, Hill, Wilson.
Yeah, he's already set his lineup, which is nice, right? I got to assume this is what he's rolling with, right? Treylon Burks coming back. Target share looks decent there in Tennessee. So if you want to be the prettiest fat girl at the prom, you be the best wide receiver for the Titans. I love that. We've got Terrace Marshall again. Not as much of a revenge game as it was against MS Bateman returns, but honestly, that's about all he's got. Though, noticed this morning, rostering a second kicker, and neither player on bye. So we've got Nick Folk and Cairo Santos on this squad.
Yeah, he picked up Cairo because Folk was off last week. He got Mostert, so he got another Miami Dolphin in a trade earlier today. Earlier today. So he still can't play him. He's on a bye as well. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, I think he had 3 snaps last week. So it looks like it's Pacheco's ball to have out there in Kansas City. I'm going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to say Alvin Kamara stinks, covers 30 points in this matchup.
Ooh, baby, I'm not sure I'm hammering hard the other side of that bet either, because I think you're on to something. I love it. I'm with you. I hope you're right. But at the same time, I'm going to hold you to it when Beth's Healthy Twins just shows up and shows out here with CEH overcoming the fact that he has become known for dropping more balls than any other running back in the NFL. Let's move forward to Bunch and Player versus MS Bateman returns. Looking like a big advantage here based on current lineup structure for the Baiters. And quite honestly, I like the team. I like the squad. I like the matchups that they're going up against. We do have a little Atlanta heavy action with Kyle Pitts and Drake London both being at home against Chicago, which has obviously a very depleted defense post-trade deadline, and in what could be a high-scoring affair. Is this the week that Pitts and or London kind of break out and we see something other than the kind of Patterson, Huntley, Algier, Mariota rushing attack out of that offensive mind in Atlanta?
Yeah, this is a tough one, actually. I kind of like bunching with the line here, getting 12. I think that line's going to increase when Bateman replaces his kicker on a bye. He's forced to play Derek Carr finally with Tom Brady on a bye. It's unfortunate. Carr's going up against Denver, second-ranked passing defense in the league. Potentially gets Keenan Allen back, who's been benched most of the year with injuries. I think there's some opportunity here for bunching to score points. I don't think they're getting a favorable projection, so I think he's going to cover it this week.
No, I like it. And so you're going bunching to cover, bunching getting 11.8, or what will decrease, right? So that's, or increase rather. So
it'll increase. I think it's going to be probably 16, 17.
An extra 6. So let's run it up to 17. So you think bunching plus 17, you're taking that?
I am.
Yeah, no, I mean, I like that as well. I don't have a hard stance on that either way, so I'm happy to support your side of it. But I want to ask this question. I mean, you're managing this squad. You've got Derek Carr at Denver, or Zach Wilson at New England.
Yeah, I'm taking Derek Carr still. I like that play.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's tough. I think we're going to be, ESPN has just a 14-point projection for Zach Wilson, who admittedly has not looked good. He's had moments where it's just clear that his incredibly talented receiving core and offensive weapons have kind of bailed him out. At the same time, at New England, a team that seems to be struggling, though they're coming off a bye, Belichick off a bye, blah, blah, blah. We know all that kind of stuff. You've got a team that's competing for the top of the division. And something that may happen there. Last thing, though, before we move on quickly, Kevin Harris, New England running back, he's rostered here by MS Bateman Returns. Have you heard of him?
I've heard of him.
Yeah, I think we went to middle school or something with him, right?
Yeah, I think he's a Westminster alum.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. Yeah. Okay, so the Ham Fisters. I mean, boy, this is going to be a good one. I'm tuning in to watch this matchup. The Hammers versus the Pubers. What do you think, man? This seems to be fairly even line, initially set around 9.
First thing that jumps out to me is that projection for Josh Allen, 30 points. projected out of the gate. I mean, that's what he's been doing. He's averaging 30.1. So play the averages going against Cleveland, who shut down Joe Burrow, but had a rough week last week. This is gonna be interesting. I mean, Medusa's traded to get the Donovan's Peoples Jones into the lineup, going dual Cleveland wide receivers with that flex play. But how do you go against Hurts, McCaffrey, Henry, and Kelsey? I could overlook the wide receivers. They're hit and miss, I think, every week. This might be a really good one, actually. I kind of like it. Not sure. Ham might play with the lineup a little bit. It looks like Artie's tweaked it somewhat with Tyler Boyd getting back in there and Josh Allen getting into the lineup, but it should be a close one.
I mean, ultimately, the thing that is separating Ham Nation from being at the very upper end of this league is this running back position. And he has two great running backs, I think, at Antonio Gibson, DeAndre Swift, also two of the least reliable running backs in the league. And as we like to say on Cum Paude, the greatest ability is availability. And if these fellers aren't able to play on a week in, week out basis, and we're hearing some news out of the DeAndre Swift camp that kind of, he just may not be right this year at all. He's going to play the rest of the year, but he's just not quite going to be right until next year. And then, well, that means you're left with relying on and starting three different Dan Snyder players.
What do you got? Medusa's given 9.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and take the Medusas. We're going to take the home team to cover 9 points. Really like Jalen Hurts kind of bounce back off of what many would say is kind of like a subpar performance. It was a solid game, but it's an oblong ball. It bounces funny ways. Things got a little bit weird, and they lost their first game of the year. I think Jalen Hurts still looked like the most talented player on the field, and I think he'll show that at Indy. So yeah, give me the Medusas giving 9.
Ooh-wee, do we got some bye weeks to fill in here?
Yeah.
Stage 5 does not. Stage 5 might be running it up here. Got a big 0 spot from Cooper Kupp, so that'll be slotted out. Tua on bye, Kenny Walker on bye, and a kicker. I guess that's not too terrible. Knowing that this team has the most depth, we're going to see Jamal Williams jump in there. We will see Dallas Goedert's getting a 0 spot, so Evan Ingram's going to slide in there. Get you. Evan Ingram's on a bye, so look for a trade or a bye week replacement for tight end. We're just rolling the dice, thinking you can get a win.
I mean, Irv Smith is still at IR. We are at I mean, there's nobody to slot in at tight end, so a trade's going to have to happen, or I'm pretty sure Nick Boyle's available on the waiver wire, so we'll see what happens there. I mean, for this Chicago running back squad, now we've got to replace somebody. You can't, we've got kind of had this David Montgomery, Khalil Herbert thing. Khalil Herbert gets shifted to IR along with Cooper Kupp. David Montgomery's available now. Does that make it a must start, throw him in there? Is he like a potential league winner for the rest of the year with Khalil Herbert going on IR?
I don't think so. Not with the game plan that Chicago's been playing. Justin Fields is getting the carries there. I think you've got to play him. He's going to get passes out of the backfield. He's historically been a pass catching back, so definitely got to play him for reigning league champ. See that slide in there, and who's the Cooper Kupp savior going to be? De'Ami Brown, baby. Bring him back in there. Caught one pass last night. Looked good doing it. Throw him in there. And this is going to be an interesting once the lineups get set. Not sure what the line's going to be like, but it might be kind of tight.
Yeah,
I do like the Redskinists to win this one though.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I don't want to speculate on the line, but honestly, I will speculate on the line, even though I don't want to. I'll take the Insurredskinist giving 10 to the reigning champs. So at a minus
All
10
right.
line. If you're willing to give me that, I'll take the good side of that. Give me the good guys minus 10.
You got it.
All right. So Rivers Me Timbers versus Damish Judi Dench. We are at the final matchup of the week. And honestly, disagree with the projections here from ESPN. I do think this is a much closer than a 9.8 matchup. But let's see what you say about your squad.
Yeah, I got to swap Zach Ertz out there. Made the trade to get Cole Kmet before realizing Ertz was out for the season. So glad I pulled the trigger on that one. Kmet's not got a high projection for this upcoming week, but he's coming off of 2 huge weeks, 5 touchdowns in 2 weeks. So slide that in there. I got to throw Claypool in there too. It looks like with Judy going out, DK on the bye, I'd be picking from some rookies otherwise to fill that spot. And just some lackluster performances from Debo there in San Francisco kind of let me down out there, hoping he can bounce back. But tighten the line up a little bit. It's probably going to be 3-4 points in the favor of Rivers Me Timbers. Should be another close matchup. It's really, I think Jonathan Taylor is going to be the one who's projected a little bit low, considering that he's had an off season. But I think under Jeff Saturday, he's just going to start running wild.
Yeah, I mean, Saturday shows up on Sunday, and that's what we learned last week. So we've got just a strange roster construction, and if I'm this manager, I'm struggling too with this kind of flex position, right? And finding a solid wide receiver 1-2, right? When we're rostering OBJ, who doesn't currently play in the NFL, right? When we are dealing with kind of Curtis Samuel, who looked great this past week, Michael Gallup, barely startable on a week-to-week basis, and then we've got Michael Carter. Yeah, I mean, it falls off really, really hard here. But then you've got one of the better quarterbacks in fantasy football and 2 of the better running backs in fantasy football, or 2 guys that are capable of putting up at 25 points at any given week. Team is strangely constructed, but also one that I would not count out. We're setting the line where?
I think when Kamek gets in there, it should be right around 3 or 4 in the favor of Timbers.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and set the line at 4. Dame Judi Dench 4. I'm going to take Rivers Me Timbers to cover here, anticipating a massive week from Jonathan Taylor, way out scoring his estimation, and it puts Dame Judi Dench still in a very similar position, a team that looks poised to make the playoffs and potentially get better as guys get healthy. Jameson Williams comes off the injured reserve, and we're moving forward. Anything else we got to wrap up with here, bud?
I think we've driven through it. We got another solid week ahead of us. 4 more weeks until the playoffs. A lot of good matchups here that'll decide some of the positioning. Stage 5 versus DC Insurredskinist is going to be a good one to watch. A couple of close lines. Really hoping that Alvin Kamara doesn't stink as much as his team name says he does. Just hoping he can get some payoff for that trade.
Yeah, no, I love it. Excited as we head towards the playoffs, and thank goodness the Ravens are back on TV. Say goodnight, Firm.
Good night, Firm. Thank you for listening to the official podcast of the Public Honors College Fantasy Football League. Cum quickly, cum often, and cum loud.